I found a notebook in the attic space yesterday afternoon, buried under blankets from a distant, faded June. The pages were yellowed and the edges torn apart, filled with scribbled drawings of a fragile human heart. You used to fold the corners down to mark the things you said, before the heavy clouds of doubt collected in your head. We were young and foolish, chasing shadows in the lawn, never thinking for a second that the daylight would be gone. You took a sheet of lined paper and made a little wing, hoping that a simple piece of wood could learn to sing. We stood upon the rooftop where the wind was blowing high, ready to release our tiny glider to the sky. It drifted for a moment, then it tumbled to the ground, into the muddy puddle without making any sound. You looked at me with teary eyes and said it was a sign that everything we ever built would fall apart in time. So loud, it seems to terrify a mouse. We try to hold the memories before they turn to dust, but every silver lining is beginning now to rust. Oh, we were flying paper planes into the stormy night, hoping they would catch a breeze and somehow take a flight. But paper cannot handle when the rain begins to pour, and we don't write those stories on the pages anymore. No, we don't write those stories on the pages anymore. I kept that little glider in a shoebox by my bed, a reminder of the heavy words that we had left unsaid. The ink began to smudge until the letters disappeared, just like the happy future that we desperately feared. I see you in the supermarket walking down the aisle. You look away so quickly, but I noticed that you smile. A stranger with a history that matches up with mine, two parallel trajectories that never will align. The neighborhood is changing and they tore the rooftop down, where we believed that we could be the rulers of this town. The concrete replaces all the grass where we once ran, and time destroys the blueprints of our very finest plan. I wonder if you ever think about that windy day, or if you threw the notebook and the memories away. The gravity is pulling every dreamer to the floor, and we don't play those silly childish games here anymore. It seems to terrify a mouse. We try to hold the memories before they turn to dust, but every silver lining is beginning now to rust. Oh, we were flying paper planes into the stormy night, hoping they would catch a breeze and somehow take a flight. But paper cannot handle when the rain begins to pour, and we don't write those stories on the pages anymore. No, we don't write those stories on the pages anymore. Throw it to the breeze, watch it catch a sudden draft, entangle in the trees. We thought that we were pilots, but we didn't have a map. We fell into the middle of a beautiful dark trap, and you can try to fix the wings with tape and piece of thread, but you can never resurrect the words that we'd have said. It falls down, the paper always falls down. In the end it's just a piece of paper on the ground. Oh, we were flying paper planes into the stormy night, hoping they would catch a breeze and somehow take a flight. But paper cannot handle when the rain begins to pour, and we don't write those stories on the pages anymore. No, we don't write those stories on the pages anymore. Just a paper plane in the pouring rain, gone, gone. I dipped the fountain pen into the bottle of black ink and sat beside the desk to give myself a chance to think. The envelope is addressed to your apartment on the hill, where the air is always biting and the wind is always chill. I struggled with the opening, the greeting felt so cold, a stark contrast to stories that we previously told. My handwriting is shaky and the sentences are brief, a summary of modern love collapsing into grief. You always loved the structure of a handwritten note, the texture of the parchment and the poetry I wrote. But this is not a ballad filled with compliments and praise. It's a declaration of the end of all our golden days. I explain the exact moment when the magic disappeared, the quiet realization of the outcome that we feared. No arguments or screaming matches, just a steady decline, a mutual understanding that your path was distinct from mine. The postage stamp is fixed upon the corner of the page, a final validation of our exit from the stage. We are signing off the ledger, closing up the heavy book without a single hesitation or a backward look. These are the last letters that I will ever send to you, a final explanation of the things we couldn't do. The ink is drying slowly, but the meaning is so clear. We ran out of sentences to keep each other near. Yeah, we spelled out our goodbye in a beautiful design. I walked down to the postbox at the corner of the square. The midnight fog is thick enough to choke the heavy air. I hold the envelope above the metal opening slot, reviving every single word and every single thought. Once it drops inside the box, there is no turning back, no way to intercept the mail or alter up the track. It felt like dropping weights into a deep and dark abyss, a tragic conclusion to a love that started with a kiss. I imagine when you receive it on Tuesday afternoon, you slice the paper open with a silver butter spoon. Your eyes will scan the paragraphs I labored to construct, detailing how our paradise was suddenly destruct. Maybe a tear will fall and smudge the signature below, or maybe you'll be relieved to finally let it go. We carved our names in tree bark, but the wood began to rot, and this final correspondence is the only thing we got. The postage stamp is fixed upon the corner of the page, a final validation of our exit from the stage. We are signing off the ledger, closing up the heavy book without a single hesitation or a backward look. These are the last letters that I will ever send to you, a final explanation of the things we couldn't do. The ink is drying slowly, but the meaning is so clear. seal the bag, let the postman do the chore. Because we are not communicating anymore. Dear love, goodbye. Don't cry, I'll never send to you. These are the last letters, explanation of the things we couldn't do. Oh, the ink is drying slowly, but the meaning is so clear. We ran out of sentences to keep each other near. Yeah, we spelled out our goodbye in a beautiful design. Postage paid, memories fade, signed. Signed. I tasted the dark marmalade you left upon the plate, a flavor profile that matches our contemporary state. A little bit of sugary sweetness at the very start, followed by an astringent bite that punctures the heart. We cultivated a recipe that was complex and refined, blending the ingredients that our personalities aligned. But the ratio was faulty and the mixture turned sour, leaving an unpleasant aftertaste at this final hour. I remember the honeymoon phase in the orchard by the farm, when every single syllable possessed a therapeutic charm. We picked fresh strawberries from the bushes in the field, savoring the bounty that the fertile soil would yield. But the seasons rotated and the frost came too soon, blackening the vegetation under an October moon. Now the fruit is fermenting in the wooden storage bin, a toxic transformation that is occurring from within. The culinary experts cannot fix this broken stew, and there is no condiment that can make the flavor new. We are consuming the remnants of a beautiful mistake, numbing our palates for our mental sanity's sake. We are swallowing this bittersweet memory tonight, we're trying to convince ourselves that everything is right. Yeah, the medicine is harsh, but the sickness was deep. I found a dark chocolate bar in the pocket of your vest, a confectionery treat that you had previously suppressed. I broke off the square and let it dissolve on my tongue, recalling the melodies that we previously sung. It was 80% cacao, intense and severe, an accurate reflection of the atmosphere. We don't do simple sugar or cheap artificial treats, we prefer the complexity of these emotional defeats. The coffee machine is dripping in the pantry alcove now, as I prepare a beverage to make my final bow. I don't add any cream or the white granulated crystals. We are treating our farewell like the fire in the pistols, just a black boiling liquid that is scorching to the throat, a fitting accompaniment to the final note I wrote. We drink to our history and the damage we sustain, savoring the agony that permanently remained. The culinary experts cannot fix this broken stew, and there is no condiment that can make the flavor new. We are consuming the remnants of a beautiful mistake, numbing our palates for our mental sanity's sake. We are swallowing this bittersweet memory tonight, trying to convince ourselves that everything is right. The contrast is brutal and the pleasure brings us pain, a confusing combination that is driving us insane. Yeah, the medicine is hard, but the sickness was deep. Separate the sugar from the gall when you choose to consume it all. Tonic, syrup, pour it out, pour it out. The end. Oh, we are swallowing this bittersweet memory tonight, trying to convince ourselves that everything is right. The contrast is brutal, and the pleasure brings us pain. A confusing combination that is driving us insane. Yeah, the medicine is harsh, but the sickness was deep. Sharp tang, door bang, acrid. I shouted out your name into the canyon deep and wide, hoping for an answer from the solitary side. But the landscape was indifferent to the misery I felt, and the frosty mountain ridges refused to ever melt. The sound of my own voice came bouncing back into my ear, a mockery of passion that was twisted by my fear. You left without a warning on a Tuesday afternoon, leaving a vacant apartment that was cleared out way too soon. The tiles in the bathroom multiply the dripping faucet sound, the water repercussion while I stare up on the ground. Every statement that we made inside this residential space is bouncing off the plaster without leaving any trace. We used to fill the structure with our arguments and cheers, but the frequency is altered over consecutive years. Now the vibration is a hollow and a terrifying thing, like a broken copper bell that has forgotten how to ring. We build a sanctuary out of promises and stone, but the structural integrity has left us both alone. The cavities are wide and the foundations are insecure, and there is no remedy that can make this love endure. We are chasing hollow echoes in an empty corridor, listening for the footsteps that don't walk it anymore. The words have lost their substance, but the noises staying loud. A ghostly congregation like a solitary crowd. Yeah, the resonance remains, reminding us of pains. I walked into the valley where we carved our monogram before the river flooded and destroyed the wooden dam. The gorge is full of boulders that have tumbled from the peak, crushing all the flowers that were delicate and weak. I spoke into the cavern just to test the acoustic grace, but the replication process was an absolute disgrace. It distorted all the meaning of the phrases that I chose, turning a confession into a parade of woes. The telephone is silent, but the static is alive, a technological reminder that our bond did not survive. I listened to old voicemails that you recorded on your device when your tone was full of honey before it turned to ice. The digital compression makes your laughter sound so strange, a robotic variation that emphasizes the change. I disconnect the line because the feedback is too intense, an auditory punishment that defies all common sense. footsteps that don't walk here anymore. The words have lost their substance, but the noises staying loud. A ghostly congregation like a solitary crowd, yeah. The resonance remains, reminding us of pain. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Screaming louder, let it bounce against the granite wall. Watch the sonic wave expand before it starts to fall. You cannot fill a vacuum with a fabricated shout. You cannot light a fire when the oxygen is out. The acoustic properties of this relationship are dead, and I am drowning in the feedback of the things you said. Hello? Is anyone there? No. We are chasing hollow echoes in an empty corridor, listening for the footsteps that don't walk here anymore. The words have lost their substance, but the noises staying loud. A ghostly congregation like a solitary crowd, yeah. The resonance remains, reminding us of pain. Echoes fade, debts unpaid. Silence. There is no thunder or a lightning display, just a heavy gray canopy obscuring the day. The leaves on the maple trees are turning upside down, a silent alert to the citizens of this town. We sit in the parlor without turning on the lamp, as the air in the residence grows heavy and damp. You are folding your laundry with a meticulous care, ignoring the electrical tension in the air. A loud argument would be a welcome relief to break the momentum of this gathering grief. But we speak in low whispers like we are inside a church, while our emotional stability is left on a perch. The rain starts to fall, but it doesn't make a sound as it absorbs into the dry, unyielding ground. A stealthy disaster that is taking its time to erode the foundations of our youth sublime. The barometric pressure is crushing our chest, and the internal anxiety will not let us rest. We are waiting for the deluge to wash us away from the silent battlefield of this ordinary day. We are weathering a quiet storm inside this apartment tonight, fighting a battle without a visible light. The destruction is subtle, but the impact is deep, infiltrating the dreams that we have when we sleep. Yeah, the flooding is gradual, but the water is high. I watch a single droplet track down the window pane, a miniature river of the silent summer rain. It doesn't rattle the glass or make a dramatic scene, it just creates a barrier that settles between your side of the table and the sector I claim, as we silently assign the institutional blame for the slow expiration of the passion we fed without a single aggressive syllable being said. The carpet is soaking from the moisture below, where the hidden underground springs begin to overflow. The mold is accumulating behind the drywall sheets, a secret decay that the architecture meets. We pretend everything is structurally sound and secure, while we watch the deterioration that we have to endure. A silent catastrophe under a domestic roof, where the lack of communication is the ultimate proof. The barometric pressure is crushing our chest, and the internal anxiety will not let us rest. We are waiting for the deluge to wash us away from the silent battlefield of this ordinary day. We are weathering a quiet storm inside this apartment tonight, fighting a battle without a visible light. The destruction is subtle, but the impact is deep, infiltrating the dreams that we have when we sleep. Yeah, the flooding is gradual, but the water is high. Open the floodgates, let the torrents expand, drown the remains of this fabricated land. But the downpour is muffled and the energy is low, and the internal rivers are sluggish and slow. So we sit in the dampness as the ceilings cave in, absorbing the consequences of our quiet sin. Drip, drop, it won't stop. Yeah, the flooding is gradual, but the water is high. Silent rain, drowning pain, drowning pain, deluge. The landlord gave us 30 days to vacate the address, a legal expiration of our domestic mess. The lease had expired and the renewal was denied, an external reflection of the vacancy inside. We packed our belongings into cardboard crates, accepting the reality of our separate fates. But every second passing felt like a heavy toll, an hourglass empty in the chambers of my soul. We watched the digital digits on the microwave clock, counting down the moments until the final shock. We were like tenants in a hotel room we didn't own, waiting for the bellhop to unplug the telephone. The furniture was ours, but the walls belonged to him, and the prospects of our future were looking rather dim. We tried to make a memory out of a remaining day, but the calendar was ruthless in taking it away. The interest is accumulating on the debt we owe, and there is no extension that the bankers will bestow. We are living on a currency we didn't earn or steal, and the bankruptcy of our romance is getting far too real. We are surviving on borrowed time, counting down the ticks, trying to assemble a house from broken bricks. The loan has matured and the collectors are outside. There is no longer a place where our spirits can hide. Yeah, the deadline is coming and we cannot pay the price. I remember when we believed our resources were infinite. Every hour was a treasure and we spent every minute of it. We didn't check the ledger or calculate the cost, never imagining the magnitude of what we eventually lost. Now we are budgeting our syllables and measuring our strides like passengers on a vessel where the captain divides the remaining water rations among a desperate crew. A tragic situation for a person like you. I see the we owe, and there is no extension that the bankers will bestow. We are living on a currency we didn't earn or steal, and the bankruptcy of our romance is getting far too real. We are surviving on borrowed time, counting down the ticks, trying to assemble a house from broken bricks. The loan has matured, the collectors are outside. There is no longer a place where our spirits can hide. Yeah, the deadline is coming, and we cannot pay the price. Stop the pendulum, smash the watch against the wall, arrest the momentum before the boulders start to fall. The gravity is absolute and chronology is strict. You cannot modify the sentences the judges will inflict. The countdown is at 0, and the buzzer starts to ring, ending the existence of our temporary thing. Tick tock, time's up. Drop the cup. We are surviving on borrowed time, counting down the ticks, counting down the ticks, trying to assemble a house from broken bricks. The loan has matured and the collectors are outside. There is no longer a place where our spirits can hide. Yeah, the deadline is coming, and we cannot pay the price. No more days, parting ways, 0. I stood upon the pier, watching the cargo vessels depart, with a heavy nautical compass navigating my heart. You boarded a cruise ship that was headed for the west, to seek a destination where your spirit could find rest. The gap between the hull and the timber grew wide as the vessel was captured by the incoming tide. Your white handkerchief was a speck in the gray before the ocean mistook the vision away. Now I am writing letters that will take weeks to arrive to an overseas address where you are trying to thrive. You send me postcards of palm trees and tropical sand, a stark contrast to this cold and muddy northern land. The geography is vast and the time zones don't align. When it is midnight in your world, it is morning in mine. We are trying to maintain a thread across the sea, but the distance is eroding our common history. The salt water is eating at the cables of our love, and the communication satellites are failing up above. We are two separate islands in an infinite blue, losing all the coordinates that connected me to you. We are standing on distant shores, looking out at the main, divided by an ocean of geography and pain. The horizon is a barrier that we cannot cross today, washing all the closeness of our previous life away. Yeah, the water is deep and the promises are hard to keep. I check the maritime tracking application on my device to see your vessel navigating through the northern ice. You were thousands of nautical miles from this room, living in a climate where different flowers bloom. I wonder if the ocean air has altered your voice, or if your relocation was a permanent choice. I look at the map on my living room my world is incredibly small. The lighthouse on the cliff throws a rotating beam, an artificial guide for a sailor's broken dream. But it cannot illuminate the space between our souls or repair the damage of our conflicting goals. You are chasing a career in a metropolitan state, while I'm stuck here bargaining with provincial fate. The continental shelf is a physical divide that mirrors the alienation that we cultivate inside. The salt water is eating at the cables of our love, and the communication satellites are failing up above. We are two separate islands in an infinite blue, losing all the coordinates that connected. That we cannot cross today, washing all the closeness of our previous life away. Yeah, the water is deep, and the promises are hard to keep. Too strong and the distance is too vast, and our physical endurance is failing us at last. So we stand on the beaches at opposite ends of the earth, mourning the relationship that gave us our worth. Lost at sea, you and me, that we cannot cross today, washing all the closeness of our previous life away. The water is deep, and the promises are hard to keep. Tides roll, vessel afloat. Tides roll, vessel afloat. You wear long sleeves even when the weather is warm, to hide the physical evidence of your internal storm. You don't like to talk about the history you carry, or the monsters in your childhood that were terrifyingly scary. I watch you navigate the kitchen with the cautious precision, like every single movement was a life-altering decision. You protect your vulnerabilities behind a high stone wall, terrified that if you stumble you will permanently fall. I have my own trauma buried deep in my chest, a heavy metal anchor that will never let me rest. From the time my father walked out on the family home, leaving us to navigate the wilderness alone. We are two damaged individuals trying to survive, using all our energy just to stay alive. But proximity is difficult when touch causes pain, and every conversation is an emotional strain. The bandages are dirty, but we refuse to look below at the deep lacerations that we never dare to show. We are treating our symptoms with a temporary band, too terrified of surgery to let our person understand. We are examining our hidden scars in the mirror today, wishing we could wash the history completely away. The tissue is healed, but the sensitivity remains, a silent ledger of our unacknowledged pains. Yeah, the surface looks smooth, but the damage is deep. You flinch when I try to brush the hair from your eyes, an involuntary reflex that you try to disguise as a casual gesture or a sneeze in the air. But I recognize the symptoms of a deep-seated despair. We are like soldiers returning from an undeclared war, who don't know what they are fighting for anymore. The weapons are put away, but the paranoia stays, governing the conduct of our ordinary days. I found a bottle of sedatives behind the vanity glass, a chemical assistance to make the long evenings pass. You take them in secrecy before you go to bed, to quiet all the arguments that occur inside your head. I don't judge your coping mechanisms, because I have my own. A bottle of whiskey that I consume when I am alone. We are self-medicating to survive the night, hoping that the morning will make everything right. The bandages are dirty, but we refuse to look below at the deep lacerations that we never dare to show. We are treating our symptoms with a temporary band, too terrified of surgery to let a person understand. We are examining our hidden scars in the mirror today, wishing we could wash the history completely away. The tissue is healed, but the sensitivity remains, a silent ledger of our unacknowledged pains. Yeah, the surface looks smooth, but the damage is deep. We constructed a residence out of transparent sheets, overlooking the traffic of the municipal streets. We wanted the world to witness our architectural grace, believing we inhabited a flawless, immaculate space. There were no brick walls or curtains to hide the daily operations that occurred inside. But transparency is dangerous when you have secrets to keep, and structural integrity was incredibly cheap. You threw a heavy porcelain mug across the living room zone, and the impact shattered a structural silica code. The spider web fracture expanded across the front wall, a terrifying indicator of our impending total fall. We are living in an environment where you shouldn't throw stones, but we are launching projectiles that are fracturing bones. The illusion of perfection is beginning to crack, and there is no glazier who can put the pieces back. The foundation is splintering under the acoustic strain, and the roof is leaking from the heavy summer rain. We are exposed to the elements in the public gaze, trapped inside a greenhouse of our departed days. We are shattering our glass houses into tiny shards today, watching our privacy wash completely away. The transparency we worship is the weapon of our doom, creating a display case out of a domestic room. Yeah, the fragments are sharp, and they are cutting the heart. I see the neighbors gathering along the pavement perimeter line, watching the spectacular destruction of your world and mine. We are a public exhibition, a free entertainment show for the curious citizens who live in the valley below. They watch you pack your suitcase through the transparent floor, and they witness my desperation as I stand by the door. There is no dignity left in this architectural mistake, just a pile of silica that we managed to break. I sweep up the remnants with a plastic bristle broom, but the splinters are scattered throughout every single room. They embed themselves deeply in the soles of my feet, a physical punishment that is thoroughly complete. We want it to be honest, we want it to be clear, but the exposure generated a paralyzing fear. We should have built with timber or solid granite block instead of this material that cannot handle the shock. The foundation is splintering under the acoustic strain, and the roof is leaking from the heavy summer rain. We are exposed to the elements in the public gaze, trapped inside a greenhouse of our departed days. We are shattering our glass houses into tiny shards today, watching our privacy wash completely away. The transparency we worship is the weapon of our doom, creating a display case out of a domestic room. Yeah, the fragments are sharp, and they are cutting the heart. Obliterate the remaining pain, let the environment collapse under the internal strain. We don't require protection if the honesty is dead. We don't require a shelter for the things we left unsaid. Let the shards tumble down like a crystalline shower, ending our residency at this final hour. Tiny shed today, watching our privacy wash completely away. The transparency we worship is the weapon of our doom, creating a display case out of a domestic room. Yeah, the fragments are sharp, and they are cutting the heart. Silica dust, broken trust, clear, clear. I shouted out your name into the cannon deep and wide, hoping for an answer from the solitary side. But the landscape was indifferent to the misery I felt, and the frosty mountain ridges refused to ever melt. The sound of my own voice came bouncing back into my ear, a mockery of passion that was twisted by my fear. You left without a warning on a Tuesday afternoon, leaving a vacant apartment that was cleared out way too soon. The tiles in the bathroom multiply the dripping faucet sound, a watery percussion while I stare upon the ground. Every statement that we made inside this residential space is bouncing off the plaster without leaving any trace. We used to fill the structure with our arguments and cheers, but the frequency is altered over consecutive years. Now the vibration is a hollow and a terrifying thing, like a broken copper bell that has forgotten how to ring. We built a sanctuary out of promises and stone, but the structural integrity has left us both alone. The cavities are wide and the foundations are insecure, and there is no remedy that can make this love endure. We are chasing hollow echoes in an empty corridor, listening for the footsteps that don't walk here anymore. The words are lost their substance, but the noise is staying loud. A ghostly congregation, like a solitary crowd. Yeah, the resonance remains, reminding us of pain. I walked into the valley where we carved our monogram before the river flooded and destroyed the wooden dam. The gorge is full of boulders that have tumbled from the peak, crushing all the flowers that were delicate and weak. I spoke into multiplication process was an absolute disgrace. It distorted all the meaning of the phrases that I chose, turning a confession into a parade of woes. The telephone is silent, but the static is alive, a technological reminder that our bond did not survive. I listened to old voicemails that you recorded on your device, when your tone was full of honey before it turned to ice. The digital compression makes your laughter sound so strange, a robotic variation that emphasizes the change. I disconnect the line because the feedback is too intense, an auditory punishment that defies all common sense. We build a sanctuary out of promises in stone, but the structural integrity has left us both alone. The cavities are wide and the foundations are insecure, and there is no remedy that can make this loving door. We are chasing hollow echoes in an empty corridor, listening for the footsteps that don't walk here anymore. The words have lost their substance, but the noise is staying loud. A ghostly congregation, solitary crowd. Yeah, the resonance remains, reminding us of pain. Hey! Whoa. Whoa. Screaming loud and let it bounce against the granite wall. Watch the sonic wave expand before it starts to fall. You cannot fill the vacuum with a fabricated shout. You cannot light a fire when the oxygen is out. The acoustic properties of this relationship are dead, and I am drowning in the feedback of the things you said. Hello? Is anyone there? No. We are chasing hollow echoes in an empty corridor, listening for the footsteps that don't walk here anymore. The words have lost their substance, but the noise is staying loud. A ghostly congregation, like a solitary crowd. Yeah, the resonance remains, reminding us of pain. Echoes fade, depths unpaid. Silence. Silence. I stood upon the pier, watching the cargo vessels depart, with a heavy nautical compass navigating my heart. You boarded a cruise ship that was headed for the west, to seek a destination where your spirit could find rest. The gap between the hull and the timber grew wide as the vessel was captured by the incoming tide. Your white handkerchief was a speck in the gray before the ocean mistook the vision away. Now I am writing letters that will take weeks to arrive to an overseas address where you were trying to thrive. You send me postcards of palm trees and tropical sand, a stark contrast to this cold and muddy northern land. The geography is vast and the time zones don't align. When it is midnight in your world, it is morning in mine. We are trying to maintain a thread across the sea, but the distance is eroding our common history. The salt water is heating up the cables of our love, and the communication satellites are failing up above. separate islands in infinite blue, losing all the coordinates that connected me to you. We are standing on distant shores, looking out at the main, divided by an ocean of geography and pain. The horizon is a barrier that we cannot cross today, washing all the closeness of our previous life away. Yeah, the water is deep, and the promises are hard to keep. I check the maritime tracking application on my device to see a vessel navigating through the northern ice. You were thousands of nautical miles from this room, living in a climate where different flowers bloom. I wonder if the ocean air has altered your voice, or if your relocation was a permanent choice. I look at the map on my living room wall, realizing that my world is incredibly small. The lighthouse on the cliff throws a rotating beam, an artificial guide for a sailor's broken dream. But it cannot illuminate the space between our souls, or repair the damage of our conflicting goals. You are chasing a career in a metropolitan state, while I am stuck here bargaining with provincial fate. The continental shelf is a physical divide that mirrors the alienation that we cultivate inside. The salt water is eating at the cables of our love, and the communication satellites are failing up above. We are two separate islands in infinite blue, losing all the coordinates that connected me to you. We are standing on distant shores, looking out at the main, divided by an ocean of geography and pain. The horizon is a barrier that we cannot cross today, washing all the closeness of our previous life away. Yeah, the water is deep, and the promises are hard to keep. Swim across the channel, navigate the stormy strait, do something to challenge the maritime fate. But the current is too strong and the distance is too vast, and our physical endurance is failing us at last. So we stand on the beaches at opposite ends of the earth, mourning the relationship that gave us our worth. Lost at sea, you and me, and we are standing on distant shores, looking out at the main, divided by an ocean of geography and pain. The horizon is a barrier that we cannot cross today, washing all the closeness of our previous life away. Yeah, the water is deep, and the promises are hard to keep. Tides roll, vessel afloat, afloat. I stood upon the pier, watching the cargo vessels depart, with a heavy nautical compass navigating my heart. You boarded a cruise ship station where your spirit could find rest. The gap between the hull and the timber grew wide as the vessel was captured by the incoming tide. Your white handkerchief was a speck in the gray before the ocean mist took the vision away. Now I am writing letters that would take weeks to arrive to an overseas address where you were trying to thrive. You sent me postcards of palm trees and tropical sand, a stark contrast to this cold and muddy northern land. The geography is vast and the time zones don't align. When it is midnight in your world, it is morning in mine. We are trying to maintain a thread across the sea, but the distances eroding our common history. The salt water receding at the cables of our love, and the communication satellites are failing up above. We are two separate islands in an infinite blue, losing all the coordinates that connected me to you. We are standing on distant shores, looking out. The station platform flashes underneath the neon sign. A dozen sleepy passengers are standing in a line. I bought a one-way ticket to a city in the north to flee the situation that was going back and forth. The steam is rising slowly from the belly of the beast as midnight cold is blowing from the valleys of the east. I look across my shoulder at the city lights behind, with 100 contradictions rolling heavy through my mind. You were sleeping on the mattress when I packed my leather case. I didn't leave a message in that suffocating place. The engine gave a whistle like a signal of distress. A metal rotor pulled me from this complicated mess. The conductor waves a lantern and the iron wheels rotate, a heavy movement forcing us to compromise with fate. The scenery is vanishing into a sea of black, and there is no mechanic who can put us on the track. The diesel smoke is filling up the chambers of my chest, the traveling companion on this solitary quest. We accelerated quickly, but we headed for a crash. Now our beautiful connection is a pile of burned ash. Oh, we are riding on the midnight trains, leaving ghosts behind, trying to escape the thoughts that paralyze the mind. Oh, the tracks go on forever through the darkness and the rain, but motion doesn't mitigate the presence of the pain. No fast locomotive cannot outrun the regret. I watch my own reflection in the dirty window pane, juxtaposed against the drops of heavy summer rain. The passengers around me all staring at their phone, a congregation of the lost who prefer to be alone. The rhythm of the metal rails is hypnotic to the ear, a steady beat that drummed away my reservation fear. I wonder if you woke up getting noticed I was gone, or if you'll only realize when you see the morning dawn. The conductor checks my ticket with a sympathetic glance. He knows that people on this coach are running from romance. We are a collection of the broken and the bruised, who chose to be abandoned rather than to be abused. The next stop is a junction where the tracks begin to split, a geographical expression of the way that we just quit. I could switch to another line and head back to your arms, but regret. But it's too late to stop. The locomotive is moving, and it's going to take it all. Chug, 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 the engine sighs as the city dies. No, the engine sighs as the city dies. We are riding on the midnight train, leaving ghosts behind, trying to escape the thoughts that paralyze the mind. Oh, the tracks go on forever through the darkness and the rain, but motion doesn't mitigate the presence of the pain. No fast locomotive cannot outrun the regret. Midnight train, watch the pain gone, gone. The station platform flashes underneath the neon sign. A dozen sleepy passengers are standing in a line. I bought a one-way ticket to a city in the north to flee the situation that was going back and forth. The steam is rising slowly from the belly of the beast. This midnight cold is blowing from the valleys of the east. I look across my shoulder at the city lights behind, with 100 contradictions rolling heavy through my mind. You were sleeping on the mattress when I packed my leather case. I didn't leave a message in that suffocating place. The engine gave a whistle like a signal of distress. A metal roar to pull me from this complicated mess. The conductor waves a lantern and the iron wheels rotate, a heavy movement forcing us to compromise with fate. The scenery is vanishing into a sea of black, and there is no mechanic who can put us on the track. The diesel smoke is filling up the chambers of my chest. The traveling companion on this solitary quest. We accelerated quickly, but we headed for a crash. Now our beautiful connection is a pile of burned ash. We are riding on the midnight trains, leaving ghosts behind, trying to escape the thoughts that paralyze the mind. The tracks go on forever through the darkness and the rain, but motion doesn't mitigate the presence of the pain. No fast locomotive cannot outrun the regret. I watch my own reflection in the dirty window pane, juxtaposed against the drops of heavy summer rain. The passengers around me are all staring at their phone, a congregation of the lost who prefer to be alone. The rhythm of the metal rails is hypnotic to the ear, a steady beat that drummed away my reservation fee. I wonder if you woke up yet and noticed I was gone, or if you'll only realize when you see the morning dawn. The conductor checks my ticket with a sympathetic glance. He knows that people on this coach are running from romance. We are a collection of the broken and the bruised, who chose to be abandoned rather than to be abused. The next stop is a junction where the tracks begin to split, a geographical expression of the way that we just quit. I could switch to another line and head back to your arms, but my intuition warns me of the volatile alarms. The diesel smoke is filling up the chambers of my chest. A traveling companion on this solitary quest. We accelerated quickly, but we headed for a crash. Now our beautiful connection is a pile of burned ash. escape the thoughts that paralyze the mind. The tracks go on forever through the darkness and the rain, but motion doesn't mitigate the presence of the pain. No fast locomotive cannot outrun the regret. Click, pace, track, change, speed up the pace. Get me far away from the memory of your face. The whistle is a scream that echoes through the mountain pass as we shatter every illusion like a sheet of fragile glass. You can pull the emergency brake, but it's too late to stall. The locomotive is moving, and it's gonna take it all. Chug, chug, chug. The engine sighs as the city dies. We are riding on the midnight trains, leaving ghosts behind, trying to escape the thoughts that paralyze the mind. The tracks go on forever through the darkness and the rain, but motion doesn't mitigate the presence of the pain. No, a fast locomotive cannot outrun